Hello and welcome to Wanderland. My name is Dallas and I'd like to invite you for afternoon tea at a restaurant called the Swan here on the South Bank in London, right next to the Thames. So come along with me down the rabbit hole and we'll experience it together. Well, hello. It looks like we made it down the rabbit hole again together, and we're here at the Swan having a lovely afternoon tea. Now, if you would like to see my ratings and if I come back to this establishment, make sure you check out the Tea Time teasers. I'll make sure to leave a link down below so you'll be able to see it. But this will be just a taste, a tease in a short form, but you found the long form. So let's get this afternoon tea started. The closest tube station here at to the Swan is going to be London Bridge, and it's a really easy walk over here, maybe about 5-10 minutes at the most, not a problem. You'll just walk your way down the Thames. It's a lovely little walk. Afternoon tea here at the Swan is served Monday through Sunday from 12 o'clock until 5 o'clock every day. The cost to have afternoon tea here is $39.50 a person, and if you're having something called the gentleman's tea, you can also get a wee dram of whiskey for £7 more. To make your reservations for the Swan at Bankside, I used afternoonteas.co.uk. They are my go-to website to get ideas about different afternoon teas here in London and all around England actually, but I really enjoy that website. And I'll leave the link down below. You can also get your reservations for the Swan at opentable.co.uk. I'll leave the link down there as well. Make sure you do yourself a favor and get yourself a reservation. I would suggest never just showing up, especially for an afternoon tea, because they do like a little heads up so they can get all of the lovely delicacies ready for you for when you arrive. My reservation was for 12:30 today, and I arrived just a little after 12:30. It was a very easy process to get in. I gave my name and I was walked straight up into the gallery seating, and no fuss, no muss. It was just fine. When you come to visit the Swan for afternoon tea, you're going to be sat with people that are dining for lunch as well as your afternoon tea. There's about, I would say about 12 tables here in this little area that we're sitting in, and there's only, let's see, there's going to be 4 of us having afternoon tea right now. I wanted to let you know also, people are very casually dressed because it is right on the Thames. People are either going to next door to the Globe Theatre, or they are just out on a tourist errand, or maybe even locals, I don't know. But needless to say, you can come as you are, obviously. You do not need to dress up. Just be comfortable and enjoy this lovely setting. Here's the afternoon tea menu here at the Swan. And they have several different kinds of menus. And I wanted to let you know that today it is a MacBeth Afternoon Tea. The reason why it's a MacBeth Afternoon Tea is we're right next to the Globe Theatre. And did you know that there's a little bit of proceeds will go directly to the theatre when you dine here at this establishment, which is really nice. You know, we want to keep theater alive. The MacBeth Afternoon Tea started on January the 3rd, 2024, and they're running this until February 6th, 2024. And then they're going to change their theme. They tend to do this, and it's going to be the Duchess of Malfoy is the next afternoon tea. So get here if you want to do this lovely MacBeth Afternoon Tea. There's different kinds of afternoon teas that you can have here at the Swan. So the one that I'm going for is called the MacBeth's Gentleman's Tea, because I had the normal traditional tea last time. I want something a little different, and if you've been watching me for quite a while now, you'll know that I enjoy the savories much more than the sweet. So on today's menu, it is a black pudding Scotch egg, beer battered Scotch haddock and chips, a broth smoky horseradish cream toast, slow pulled Scottish beef, gherkin, Scottish whiskey on a brioche bun, haggis, beetroot, and an apple tartlet, Isle of Mull cheddar scone with blue murder cheese butter, and then for the sweet portion, it's a Cranachan raspberry curd and raspberry brine namalaka filled tartlet. They used to have a bone broth tea, but my server said that it wasn't very popular, so they took it off, unfortunately. And like I had mentioned before, if you'd like a wee little dram of Scotch whiskey, it's £7 more. I figure also, because it's going to be Burns Night next week, we might as well go the whole Scottish yard, right? So I think I might even get a little wee dram. Don't really care for whiskey, but you know, if you're here, and you gotta do it. Afternoon tea here at the Swan. They also have a vegetarian option, and they have a vegan option for afternoon tea, as well as the traditional afternoon tea, where you'll get your savory sandwiches, your scones, and your sweets. I just received my MacBeth Gentleman's Tea Tower, and I am so excited to show you what I have received. It is magnificent. It's mostly warm food, I would say, and the portions are much larger than you would imagine for an afternoon tea. I mean, I have a hunk of haddock here. I've got a full Scotch egg. I can't even imagine how good this is going to taste. It looks like it's just up my alley. But I'll tell you what, I will come back to the Swan a little bit later, and perhaps I'll go for the traditional afternoon tea again. But for now, this cold January day, I am thrilled to bits to get some warm food inside of me. This is my first course. Can you believe this? This is fish and chips. Look at the portion of this. Can you see this? Oh my goodness, look at that. I don't want to do it too angled right now because I know what can happen. I mean, you've seen what can happen. But I'm going to be a little gauche. Look at, that is a beautiful portion of fish for a lovely afternoon tea. I'll let you know how it is. My fish and chips is served with mushy peas and horseradish. Here's my mushy peas, my horseradish, and a big wedge of lemon. Perfect. It looks like there's six big thick chips waiting for me to eat them. Yes, this is such an exciting afternoon tea because it's different. It's very unique, and I'm really going to enjoy it. And I have myself a little bit of rabbit juice, so cheers to a lovely afternoon tea here at the Swan. Here is a little bit of my fish from my fish and chips. It looks very nice. I cut into it and it was still crispy. I know I've been talking to you guys for a while, so I'm not expecting it to be really hot, but I will tell you the chips are lovely. These French fries are huge. Well, they're huge for me because I generally go for fries, you know, like American fries, but these are good English chips. They're crispy on the outside, but very pillowy on the inside. Very, very nice. Tell me, what's your favorite thing to eat with fish and chips? Do you eat fish and chips a whole bunch or a little? You know, here in England, it's very traditional to have fish and chips on Fridays. Now, I like my fish and chips with a lot of malt vinegar. I mean, I can have practically half the bottle on a portion of fish and chips. I love this stuff. But you can also have tartar sauce or whatever else you eat with your fish. So what do you have? Do you have fish and chips with vinegar like me? Or do you go for a traditional tartar sauce? Tell me. I want to know. So you know, I always try whatever is on my plate because you never know. My first inclination is like, ooh, I don't like mushy peas because I just don't like mushy peas. But I tried these and they tasted really fresh. And if you look inside, they're not so mushy. They still have a little texture. They're very fresh tasting. Tasted like there's almost a little bit of lemon in there. These are probably the best mushy peas that I've ever tried. So maybe the next time I'm faced with some mushy peas, I'll try those as well. I will tell you, the gentleman's afternoon tea is a lot of food. I guess if you're a gentleman, they believe that you eat a lot heartier than normal afternoon tea. So I don't have a half of Scotch egg. I have another one that looks just like this. So this is a black pudding Scotch egg. Looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Ooh. I love Scotch eggs. They're one of my favorite. And from touching that, it's a very crumbly texture on the outside. It looks magnificent. I tell you, the egg yolks on these, they were happy chickens because these are very beautiful orangey eggs. The black pudding Scotch egg was phenomenal. Oh, I can tell they freshly cooked it for me because it was still warm. But there was a gorgeous crumb on the outside, which made the whole thing so crunchy and delightful. The inside, the black pudding, was cooked perfectly. There's just a real savory, beautiful taste of black pudding. It's hard to describe. I'm sure if you're used to black pudding, you would understand it a little bit more. I just do know, if you're squeamish, don't listen to this. I believe it's made with blood, actually, inside the sausage meat. That's what makes it a darker color. But lovely, lovely Scotch egg. And the soft yolked egg in the middle was perfect. It was cooked perfectly. It was not too runny, you know, where it's undercooked. It was delightful. This is really hard because I'm used to not having such large portions of things, and I need to pace myself so I can try all of these lovely delights. So far, the Swan is doing excellent. There's different kinds of teas offered here that you can make your selection. There's black teas, there's green teas, there's one white tea, which is a white pear and ginger, and there's also some herbal teas. There's not a huge selection, but I think there'll be something that you'll enjoy. For myself, I went with a good old standard Earl Grey afternoon tea. This is a haggis, beetroot, and apple tartlet. There it is. It smells nice. It kind of smells the beetroot, so let's try. To tell you the truth, it was kind of bland. It is, I can taste a little bit of the earthiness from the beetroot. The haggis, it doesn't seem like it's really, really seasoned, but the tart itself is quite nice. I think if it was nice and warm, it would probably be very delightful. The tart's nice and flaky. Yeah, it's just a little bland compared to everything else that I've been trying. I tell you, I think I must have taken the pill that makes you shrink, because this is the largest tea offering I've ever had. So this was supposed to be some kind of smoked fish. It was supposed to be Arbroath smoky horseradish cream toast, but I see that this is definitely a big, lovely piece of chunky bread with a lot of salmon on it. It looks like there's some dill and some kind of creme fraiche. So I'll let you know how it goes when I have it. So this smoked salmon toast is so delicious. The bread is nice and thick. It's been toasted perfectly. It looks like it's a brown sourdough. The creme fraiche is inundated, 50-cent word, inundated with lots of lemon, so it brings that whole, the zestiness of lemon up. The smoked salmon's perfect. It's lovely. I wish all afternoon teas were kind of like this, but you know, you do like the traditional things with the lovely little sandwiches, but this is quite delicious. I think these gentlemen know what they're doing. Take a look at this. So this is this is slow cooked pulled Scottish beef with gherkins with a whiskey brioche bun. Look at that. It's huge, huge. That is a huge sandwich for afternoon tea. Very much so. Gonna have to bring half of this home to David, I think. Definitely. This looks very generously filled. Look at this. Lovely. So let's try it. That was a barbecued beef, slow cooked, pulled beef sandwich. Beautiful. The brioche bun just disappeared in my mouth. There's a lot of meat in there. It's just a very hickory kind of smoked barbecue flavor. Very, very nice. I was not expecting that today, but I'm very glad that it came to me today. So a very nice sandwich. I keep saying this, not an afternoon tea sandwich, but it's a gentleman's afternoon tea. So if you've got a hearty appetite, come on down to the Swan. Well, because we don't have a lot of sweets, in fact, we only have one, that must mean we are ready for halftime. So welcome to halftime, or maybe three-quarter time, because we're almost done here. So this is an Isle of Mull cheddar scone. And it's huge, and it's chunky, and it looks delicious. I see that there's baked on cheese on top of my scone, and it comes with Blue Murder cheese butter. Now that sounds delicious. So I'll let you know how I get on with this. I pulled apart my scone easily, and I've got my cheese butter right here. It looks delightful. Scone is a very, very nice consistency. It's harder around the top, but inside it's nice and moist. It seems as though there's walnuts inside of it as well as the cheese that's been baked up on top of it. The cheese butter is nice and strong, like you'd expect from a blue cheese, but it's been whipped to a consistency of like a butter. Very, very delightful. It really hit all of the taste buds right away. Yeah, if you want something savory, this is a really good place to start. Alas, we've come to our last bit. We have a Cranachan with raspberry curd and vanilla bean little tartlet. So this is my only bit of sweetness here at my MacBeth themed afternoon tea, the gentleman's tea. Remember, if you want to have the traditional afternoon tea, there's a whole plate of afternoon tea sweets that you can get. It looks really lovely, and I'll hopefully be able to insert a picture of that for you. But up until now, let's try this one. The little tartlet was just fine. It was a perfect end to a very nice afternoon tea. It had a little bit of tartness, but not really a lot. There's a little bit of custard with it, and the tart shell itself was very soft. Tiny little thing. I'll show you what it looks like on a cross section. But yes, it's a lovely little sweet, but I think for myself, I did the right thing and went for the more savory afternoon tea for this experience. I had a really nice time here at the Swan for afternoon tea. I will say, and I keep saying this, I feel like I almost had lunch rather than afternoon tea. It wasn't the same level of service you're used to with afternoon teas, you know, where you're taken care of and really fawned over. It's more like a restaurant, you know, you've got waiters that will come and help you, but I've had stone cold tea. I didn't ask for any more, but nobody came to offer any more tea. So yeah, it is what it is. It's gotten very noisy now because there's a lot of diners in here for lunches. So yeah, it's kind of a 50-50 kind of feeling. I think for myself, I did well with getting a more savory tea because I remember the last time I was here, I enjoyed their savories much more than their sweets. So take that with how you are. Will I come back? I'm always up for a little bit of theming, and yeah, it was themed, a Scottish theme definitely, which was very cool. Like I said, it's Burns Night coming up next week, so it was nice to have a little haggis, you know, and a little bit of the black pudding and stuff. It was very good. I liked my tea. I really enjoyed everything that I had. I think they were very generous with everything. So I would recommend this. If you're in the area of the Bankside area by the Globe Theatre and you want something nice, come in here. You've got a beautiful view, absolutely beautiful view of the Thames and of St. Paul's Cathedral. So it's a great place. Whenever I've come here, there's a lot of Americans. Funny that, because you know it's a very picturesque spot right here. So yeah, I want to thank you for watching, and you know, please like and subscribe, and I look forward to going down the rabbit hole again with you next week. So till then, I will see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.